Okay, welcome back to episode 6 of my Minecraft Showcase series. And in this episode, first of all, I've done some back-end problem solving. I fixed the audio issue in the previous episode that I uploaded on Friday. I converted the entire video from a video that has like two stereo channels to a video with a mono output. And that is a good enough of a fix if I ever decide to re-upload those first four episodes. But I was searching for something a bit better this time, so I played around with Easy Effects, which is a software I use to do some noise reduction when recording videos on Linux. Audio settings have always been a bit finicky when I was dealing with Linux. At least they are for me. I don't know how it is for everyone else. And so this new configuration allows me to have a centered mono left plus right channel. So I don't need to convert the video no more. And I was also playing around with a software to edit videos because what I usually do, I start the screen recorder and then I go to Minecraft and then I record this episode, this narration, I finish it, I turn off screen recording, but then you have it in the start and the end of the video is just me pressing buttons in a video recording software, and that doesn't look good visually, so I go to so I first upload the video, and then immediately I go to YouTube Studio and I trim that start and the ending of the video with all the windows of the screen recorder and other things that you as a viewer you don't want to see that because that's boring and it doesn't really contain anything of value to the video. So I've tried doing that with a software called Shotcut, but it that part of the video, how could I say this? Video design process is called rendering, and that makes the fans on my laptop go brrr. So I'm just gonna do that the way I've been doing it up until this point, which is just use YouTube Studios and their servers to handle that operation of trimming the video. So, I like at first when I started recording these episodes, I wasn't really sure how much time this was gonna take or if I should invest any time in researching these audio settings or video editing settings. But as time goes on, I want to give out the best output I can. So I start playing with the settings, But when you're starting things out, you just generally you want to do it as fast as possible and with a good enough of a solution as possible. Because if you try to do things at first in the most professional way possible, you will stop and you will do nothing because you don't know anything about these tools. You can't create complex designs if you don't know how to use the tools that you're using to create those designs. I'm kind of drawing a parallel to my job in real life. When I first started designing in CATIA, I couldn't create the complex designs that I create these days because I just didn't know how to use the tool. So best to take some time, um, output those videos that I did, those first four episodes. I think I will leave them with the audio channel to the left. It's kind of skewed, so it seems like I'm whispering to the left of you. I'm gonna leave them as a testament or as a proof that you have to learn from your mistakes, and those mistakes they need to be available as a part of your history. And if I just delete it or re-upload the video, then I'll never know about the mistakes I made. I mean, I'll know, but you as an audience and maybe anyone new who comes to this channel and watches these videos, that person can then see my evolution from somebody who just wanted to record a video of his world to somebody who's, making the time to actually make that video into something a bit more professional, like professional under heavy quotations marks. Let's be honest here. I'm no professional. So in the last episode, I kind of went a bit in depth about some of these builds I did. I don't know if this episode will be long or short. I did mention in the last one there's a procedure that I'll be doing to my teeth, and that might happen on Tuesday. So maybe this will be a longer one because I'm not sure when will the next time, when I'll be available the next time, and if I'll be able to talk for extended periods of time. I have experience with these kinds of things, and I've had many orthodontic procedures in the last couple of years, so I know how much recovery takes. So, in the last one, I mentioned that squat building over there and the wood farm over there. Um, and yeah, that was some of the projects that I mentioned I wanted to go a bit more in depth with. So I'll just start with this one. This is a chorus farm. Chorus is a type of plant that is found in the nth dimension that can be smelted and then used to craft these purple blocks. And as you can see, they are a very specific purple violet color and a very interesting texture, kind of similar to these stone bricks, but they don't really mesh well with a lot of other block textures, so I don't really use them as much. But I thought, a course farm would be cool. And at first, this was a giant hole in the ground. I'm not sure what this is. This looks interesting. When did this appear? That's interesting. So at first, this was a hole in the ground, and I didn't have a lot of materials to make it as pretty as possible. So the inside walls were made out of snow and stone. Snow is extremely like a stark white color, and it really burns your eyes out. And stone is gray, as you can see. And I didn't like that hole in the ground, so I surrounded it with this nice kind of like a barracks or maybe like a warehouse in this medieval style. And this is generally one of my favorite builds in this industrial part of the server because, I took some time and effort. I did some texturing on the ground to make, when you build houses in Minecraft, one of the things I've learned is you can't just plop it down there and expect it to fit into the environment. You kind of have to texture the ground, like disperse the green of the grass blocks with some of these gray blocks. So, it seems like this building's been here for a long time, and maybe there's some pebbles, maybe there's some concrete that's run off the walls, and it just kind of settles in the whole building. And so I built this and you can see kind of like I did this. It's very hard to generally randomize anything in Minecraft as a human input. So as randomized as this roof is in its texture, it's also very, organized in its chaos. So it looks very repetitive, although I've tried to make it as non-repetitive as possible. But sometimes our mind looks for the easiest path from A to B, and the easiest path in chaos is to organize it and to make patterns. We are pattern-seeking animals. And I kind of worked around the terrain here. As you can see, the building gets really, really low to the ground here, and on the other side, it's a bit higher, as you can see. This is a very cool trick. You can kind of make it seem like these are nails going into wood beams. Gives it a bit more 3D presence, a bit more texture. And this little spire, this is one of the first builds I did here when this area was like all those little houses. It was kind of a neat collection area. Maybe this was some kind of, I don't know, people gathering point. I just liked it so much and kind of tried doing something with the kelp here to indicate this is a kelp farm. Obviously, there's nothing in here at this point because this design for kelp farm is it's very difficult to use it manually and takes a lot of time, so I just left it here as a reminder that I have to do a full-on automatic kelp farm, so I don't have to worry about manually collecting kelp and smelting it and all those other nice things about kelp farming. I know I've mentioned that it's always better to leave your farms in a semi-automatic state so you still interact with them and you know still give them life, but sometimes some objects in Minecraft are too much of a hassle to work around with, so you kind of automate it and just leave it ticking in the background. And there's this other janky build. This is kind of like a wooden umbrella for these dogs of mine. So when rain falls or snow falls, you know, they don't get cold and wet. We wouldn't want that for them. Those little pixelated blocks of code. Just saying. And here is some janky redstone I made to enter here. Oh, look at that. Huh? Huh? This is just the inside of the villager brewing. But like the outer design and everything is something I made recently, and I wanted to make some kind of a redstone door just because, you know, if you have time to do redstone, then do it because redstone can be a lot of fun and it's certainly a lot more interesting than just putting here like a door here and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna click the door and that's it. That's a bit boring, you know, you don't want that. So we'll exit. And let's go back to the main star of the show. This is the interior that I've done for this place. What does it say here? Oh, this is some stuff that I need to build a sheep farm, which you have seen in the previous episode or episodes. I've already built this, so I can remove this, so I don't need that reminder. This was a lot more uglier in the past, and let's just dive into it. So this is the chorus plant, the chorus flower. If it's white as it is now in my hand, that means it's still gonna grow, but if it looks like this, if only the center of it is kind of like whitish, this bonish color, then that is like the end stage of a flower and it will grow no more. And the only thing you can do is break it and replant it. But these blocks here are spawnable, and they are dark. They can spawn mobs. So I needed a way to disable mob spawning, and you usually do that by lighting blocks up with torches or other light-emitting blocks in Minecraft. So I built these pillars. If I can open this, or oh, here we are. So these are just sea lantern pillars that go all the way down and they emit enough light for all of these dead chorus blocks to be lit up so they don't spawn mobs and cause me issues down the line. Uh, this looks like we have a trapdoor that's missing. Okay. I believe there's some kind of a mod that I have that changes the behavior of shift key so it allows me to, you know, place these blocks that can be interacted with in a more easier manner, and that's why I'm having these weird clicks that you just seen. And yeah, as I said, this was a snow and stone walls, and they did not look well. It was very difficult on the eyes, and when you turned around, something about the textures made my GPU cough a little bit, and then like the screen would split. So this is much, much better. I like this a lot better. Kind of looks like socks in a way. I don't know why it reminds me of socks. We have this kind of a cool gradient as we go down. It gets a bit more and more darker, and then it's green at the end of it. Why? I don't know. So if we press a button, which unfortunately I've moved that button upstairs. If we press a button, there will be water coming out of these dispensers that will flood these plants that will break upon being hit by the water, and they will go to the item collection area, which is this. This is a very basic rudimentary. I'm sure somebody could make this a lot more efficient, but it's good for what I need it to be. And if we go to spectator, you can see, so the water just helps to move it along a bit faster, and it goes into this little redstone contraption. It basically just detects, oh, there are items in this dispenser, so I should send a signal back to that same dispenser and, pulse it. So as long as there are items in this dispenser, it will be prompted to pulse and release items into this bubble vader. And if we go up the bubble vader, it goes into this also very janky redstone setup and basically into this line of hoppers which serves as a sorting system. Although for some reason it has a bug in it. I think it's because the items are going into the sorting system too quickly, and this sorting system is an old Impulse SV design. Maybe it wasn't designed for that kind of input speed. But it does the job, and more importantly, I don't have to go all the way down here to get all of my items, because as you can see, I kind of planned this underground area for here, so I could collect all those items here, but it's just, sometimes you just want to walk around the surface and get your items from the chests and not have to go up and down and up and down. So this here is the button, and let's press it. Usually what I do, there's a bow and arrow. There's a lot of bows and arrows here, to collect these dead chorus flowers, which can then use to be replant all of these things. You have to shoot them with an arrow, or I think break them by a pickaxe. But for entertainment purposes here, I won't be doing that. So let's press this button. And the water comes in. And let's go with the spectator. Take a look at that. What a show. Look at all those items in the water. Okay. And it goes into this, and everything is picked up by the hoppers. And now this system is pulsing, and it's saying, hey, I've got blocks in me, you gotta release them. And they go up here, this bubble vader, or the bubble elevator. And then they get sorted, and as you can see, the redstone is pulsing, it's all getting sorted, and it's working, it's working perfectly. That's the chorus farm. I'm not sure how much it took me to build this. It's been a couple of years, because as I said, I'm, on and off going into this world, if I have the inspiration at the time, so this bubble vader and the redstone and the interior, this is something I did a month ago. I was really inspired to do something with it, and I think it looks fantastic. These warm colors and the spruce trapdoors that really add something to it. And of course, this is all glass, because I could have glass is a mob that glass is a mob. I wish glass was a mob. I could farm it more easily. Glass is a block that doesn't allow mobs to be spawned on top of it, so I just use it as a floor while I'm, sneaking along here and shooting those dead chorus flowers so I can collect them and use them for replanting. Let's go back into creative and turn off the water. Kablam, and look at it. Kablamo. How about that? I'm very proud of this whole thing. It was all my design, so and it looks kind of nice. Like, those lanterns are not they're not something that's necessary, not that much, but it makes for a cool visual effect. Kind of looks like fireflies if you think about it. So let's go back outside. And we'll leave this to do his thing. I'm not sure if there's anything in these chests. There should be something in the first. Yeah, we have some forest flowers, so we can replant easily in the future. So that's the course plant farm. This is not a farm. This is just visual um design. It doesn't serve anything. I just thought, meh, that would look nice, just these nether trees and of course spawn proofed on top of this flower farm, which I seldom use because I'm not really well, not much of a survival player these days, but I haven't found the use for dyes as much. As you can see, there's not a lot of dyed objects. Like this is glazed terracotta, which you get by smelting regular blue terracotta, so I guess you would need the color blue for it. But it's been a while since I built this. I've built this design back in 2021. Yeah, I remember the day I built it, what I was doing, where I was sitting, what kind of a desk I was using at the time. So, there's a lot of details in these blocks and in these builds that I've built. Okay, and the other farm that I wanted to talk about was the tree farm. So let's drop down if I press space. And the entrance is not done yet. And here we are. It's the tree farm. The floor is what it is. I never bothered to change it because it's covered by water. And my idea is if I can go up and maybe even go to spectator. Okay, here we are. So my idea with this semi-automatic, of course everything is semi-automatic with me, farm, is that I have these rows of trees and they're planted, as you can see when they grow, they are separated. Well, almost. And that allows me to produce like the largest amounts of saplings that I can get from these trees. And every now and then, before I use this farm, I go here, I cut the trees down, the saplings fall into the water streams below. The water streams were a project that I have because this is all using, like, all of this is from single water sources that are just kind of cascading down all of these blocks and into a uh look at this. Oh my God, I even forgot what kind of a hassle this was. All of these channels going into these operas, and there's a an identical contraption with a dispenser that pulses, and it outputs all of those saplings into this sorting. I mean, not sorting area. It's a collection area, and into this barrel. And then I take all of those saplings, I take the bone meal that I get from my skeleton farms and my general mob farms, I stand on top of this block and I stand here, I plant the sapling, I use the bone meal on it, it grows up, and then this system, this kind of a wall of pistons was, it's usually used for basalt farms and stone farms. But I thought maybe I could use it for this because I'm also creating these blocks in much the same way they're created in stone and basalt farms. So technically I can use the same system, right? And I was right. So the tree grows up and then that is detected by this redstone system and it kind of pushes that line of the trunk to this wall of pistons, and once it reaches this last block here, let's go into creative. This last block here, let's take a block. That pulses the entire system, and then an entire wall of tree blocks gets pushed aside. And now a piston can push up to 12 blocks, so I can get like a 12 to, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12 times 6 times 1, 2, 3, 9. I'm really bad at maths. So 10. Okay. 6 times 12 times 10. I'm not a mathematician, so I'll let you calculate how much space that is. But I get a nice chunk of blocks that I can then manually cut with my axe. Maybe I could put a haste to beacon so I can be a bit faster in the process. Let's just show how this works. So it gets here, and yeah, you see? That's pretty neat. So this planting design, I believe that's me. I'm not sure. Uh, this is from somewhere on the internet, on the YouTube. This wall of pistons could be someone from SiteCraft or maybe DocM77 or Etho. I'm not sure. This idea to have saplings collected in this way and fall. This is like two farms at one, an old school Minecraft tree farm combined with the new redstone capabilities of Minecraft to create this kind of like a mishmash of a wood farm. And it works pretty well, and it's good enough for my needs. I mean, it's great actually. I don't need much more than this. This is perfectly fine. I think I have some kind of a math cheat sheet here. If I plant 48 saplings, I'm going to be left with 16 saplings. So, there's always some extra surplus that can go into this barrel here. And let's see. Yeah, I have some bone blocks and some oak saplings. All of this is, of course, uh, collected in survival. And that's the tree farm. And if I go to spectator, as you can see, it takes a lot of space. I really like the design of the ceiling. It's kind of semi-transparent, and you can kind of see the night sky or the date sky, and it's nice. It's very airy. Okay, so that is kind of the last two parts of my industrial district. You think it'd be a bit bigger, but I don't have like Minecraft YouTubers, that's their job. Their job is to create videos in the world of Minecraft. So they have, 8 hours per day to create things and then create videos. I unfortunately don't have that time. My dream was to also become a Minecraft YouTuber, much like everyone's dream was to become something that they're currently not. But you work with what you have, and I'm pretty content with how all of this turned out, and I know that I'll be working on this for many, many years to come. And my goal these days is just to finish up all of these projects that I've started when it comes to the industrial part of Minecraft, but also some of the creative builds that I started. And one of those creative builds that I started was in the summer of 2022 is a drowned farm. This is a river biome, and river biomes can spawn drowned. It's a specific type or a variation of a zombie mob that drops tridents, and I believe it might even drop copper ingots when they die. So this was in the beginning, like all of this is not a river biome, this is a forest biome. You have to remember this is an older version of Minecraft where rivers were much smaller. So I have to work with what I have, and I kind of expanded the river, kind of like the border area into these cuboids. And then my idea is that there will be falling water inside of this, and they will be like those drawn. I didn't know I could draw. The drowned mob will fall down that falling water into these streams, and I was working on some of the collection streams here, but I can't make it work, so it's something that I'll do in the future. And all of these tanks will be filled with water, and I will collect all of the drowned into this single area where I will, how could I say this? Detach them from their living status and get all the sweet drops that I want. And I will consider that project finished so I can, focus on some of the other builds. Anyway, I feel like I've been talking for far too long here. This sheep farm is nothing special. It's a design by Shulker Craft, and I'm pretty sure Shulker Craft uh took it from someone else and placed their name into the description box. I only did a bit of this outdoor design just to make it a bit more in line with the theme of this medieval industrial complex. This is something I wanted to do for a long time, although I don't use that many wool blocks. It's still nice to have a good amount of it. You never know what you'll use it for. And yeah, that's the industrial district. I will just go down here if I can, if I wasn't in spectator. Oh yeah. And I'll go into this nice little interior house that I've built. It's very comfortable. Here's one of my dogs is enjoying his day. So this is it for episode 6. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I will be back with you as soon as possible, but as I've said, I don't know what kind of a procedure I'll be doing on Tuesday, so we'll see about that. I hope you enjoyed this and have a good day.